Hello. Okay, so I'm making this as a video response to you. Okay, so I guess what I wanted to say is that I feel you have a misrepresentation of what Calvinism actually is, or doctrines of grace. Now, I guess I only have 15 minutes, and I feel like you made a lot of claims that are not valid. So I'm going to try to address as many of them as I can in the 15-minute time frame, but I won't be able to go too much in depth about them. But I'm going to try. I think you don't have the understanding of the difference between God's sovereign and moral will. In other words, in His moral will, no, God did not want us to sin, but in His sovereign will, He did, or not He did, but that's what He had predestined. Now you assume that by saying that, a Calvinist, a hyper-Calvinist would say that makes him the author of sin, but a non-hyper-Calvinist such as myself or my roommate will not say that. In other words, Adam did have free will. Okay, and there's nobody saying that he didn't. So the author of sin is well, not the author of sin, but the people that gave us our sinful nature, or i.e. total depravity and tulip, is humans. It was Adam and Eve. Actually, it wasn't even Eve because Eve was deceived. So it was Adam that knowingly rebelled. Adam is the one that brought sin into the world. Now, you you go on quoting Clement of Rome, which leads me to believe that you're a Roman Catholic, because that's what Clement was. Um, Now, I could be wrong in assuming that just by you quoting him, but I used to be Roman Catholic, and um, the kind of idea I got from your video, the feel I got from your video, is that you more than likely are, and you also showed a kind of some background scenery that was kind of Platonistic, and it seemed that way anyway. Let me explain something, and I guess I'll just start here and spend the majority of my video on here doing this, explaining this to you, and then maybe, I don't know, maybe it'll turn into something, maybe it won't, I don't know. But you seem to have this disconnect between predestination and free will, when in fact there is no disconnect. Okay, humans do have a will. We do have free will, and that's not something that Calvinism is going to deny. But by looking at it from the Arminian perspective, like you are, you're making God more of a reactive God than a proactive God, meaning that He created something, or He created us and the world and the universe and everything that He created, obviously, which is everything, um, without true knowledge of what was actually going to happen. In other words, He's basically just created us and said, okay, now we're going to see what happens from here. But you don't understand, with God there is no plan B, which means that in His sovereign will, He decreed everything that has happened, is happening, and ever will happen. Just like when Jesus said to the Jews, before Abraham was, I am, which means that before existence existed, He was. So in order to have created existence, He had to have lived outside of it. So by assuming a reactive God, basically you're saying that He created something kind of blindly with no idea of what would really happen. Now that doesn't seem logical to you, does it? I know plenty of people are going to see this video. I'm going to have atheist subscribers. I know they're going to see this and say, oh, look at this Christian say something that's not logical, and he's a Christian. Whatever.
Well, on a package, well,
Recording.
oh,
Yeah. Um, so that's the major problem I have with what seemed to be happening in your videos, or what seemed to be happening in your video. Now, no one says, or a hyper-Calvinist would say that basically kind of making God like a correctional officer or jailer, forcing us to do things that we don't want to do. And even like as a Calvinist, you know that God did not author sin because it says that He cannot tempt us. So, but by denying Calvinism, I mean just the two strongest chapters I can think of are in the Book of Romans, Romans 8 and Romans 9. I'm going to read those in context, and you can see what I'm talking about. There, or in the Arminian perspective, where it says something like, you can fall from grace and stuff like that. In other words, your actions determine your salvation. Not true. I mean, even Jesus says, none that were given to me, I will lose. So, if he's saying that none that were given to me, I will lose, what does that indicate? That indicates that he knew who was given to him, and he will not lose them. That's to me, and I'm sure people probably disagree with me, but that's the underlying point of Calvinism, or the doctrines of grace, meaning that he knew who was his, and that's one of the reasons why he's called the shepherd. A good shepherd, and he says, a good shepherd will not lose any of his flock. So he knows who his people are. Again, none that were given to me I will lose. Just think about that for a minute. So if he says none that were given to me I will lose, it indicates he knows who was given to him, and he will not lose them. Eternal salvation. So as a Calvinist, we don't believe that you can lose your salvation. Okay. In essence, so the whole doctrine of free will then is kind of brought into question, because in an Arminian perspective, you can lose your free will, or you can lose your free will. Wow, you can lose your salvation. Just look at like the Mormon Church or the Roman Catholic Church. And if you're Roman Catholic, I apologize, but I used to be, and I was indoctrinated, much like a lot of Roman Catholics are. I don't know if you are a thinking one. If you are, then you're not indoctrinated. If you're not a thinking one, then yes, you are. But what I'm saying is how can a God who is omniscient and omnipotent and everything, he can be all places at all times, knowing everything everywhere, possibly be surprised or not know the result of a choice that we make? Again, before Abraham was, I am. Okay, the I am statements indicate that before existence existed, he was. So in essence, like people will ask me, does God exist? No, God does not exist, because he lives outside of time. Existence is pertaining to living living within time. Like I exist, you exist. This lava lamp over here exists. My computer and webcam exist, obviously, because I'm using it. My phone exists because it lives inside time. But at one point, these will be no more. When time ends, all of this ends. Okay. So for someone that lives outside of time, no, he does not exist. But my point in bringing that up is that for someone to have lived outside of time, how do I say this? So whatever view of salvation you take, whether it's the Augustinian position or two-handed position, like what Mark Driscoll takes, where sort of God's kind of looking down the corridor of time and sees who will choose him and therefore chooses them, that it's not possible, because in order for him to see down the corridor of time, he'd have to be constricted to it. Like how we have a day. Okay, we see a day in a 24-hour period. God sees time as past, present, and future. In other words, he's already in the future, but he's still in the past. So how can he be constrained to anything and be dependent on anything within that time when he's before us, he's with us, and he's after us? Do you understand what I'm saying? So in other words, if we make a choice today, we see why we should or shouldn't have tomorrow. But he's already in tomorrow. So he knew the choice we were going to make. As a matter of fact, think about this. If he existed before existence, that's the best way I can put it, and made prophecy and revelation and stuff like that to times that have not yet come, then how could he possibly have been surprised by anything we do today? Like, he already knows the end. He already knows exactly how it's going to happen. He's living in the end right now. He's also living in the beginning, and he's living in the current. He doesn't see that whole, you know, it's 9:21 where I'm at right now. It's not 9:21 where he's at. Okay, it's not 9:21 where he is. It's it's him where he is. In other words, it's what he sees, which is everything. Like, we have more of a tunnel vision. We see here, we see now. He sees he sees everything, from what has happened to what will happen. He's seeing it all right now. So there's nothing possibly that free will could that we could do that has him up there thinking, "Oh, I need to make a plan B." With God, there is no plan B. He is, and existence is for us, or for him. Existence is progressive for us. It's not for him. So there's absolutely nothing that I mean, we do have free will, but there's absolutely hold on. There's absolutely nothing that a choice that we can make today is going to change what he already has for us tomorrow. It's not possible. I guess I spent the majority of my time on this video explaining this because I really need you to understand that whatever choice we make, he already knows. Did he predestine us to evil? Yes, but is he the author of it? No. And the reason why he's not the author of it is because we chose it by our free will. We still do have free will. I can do whatever I want right now, but he already planned what I'm going to do. So in essence, we're looking at it in two different ways. In other words, he planned what I'm going to do, but to me, at the best that I can understand it, I'm planning what I'm going to do. He did predestine the words that are coming out of my mouth here, in essence. But in essence, also, I chose them by using free will. So there is no, we're not puppets in a play for him. We do have choice as far as us being constricted in this world in this time. But he predestined those choices. Sorry. He predestined those choices. So as far as he's concerned, he sees it from beginning to end, whole right here, right now. He sees it all. He sees tomorrow. We don't see tomorrow. We're not in tomorrow yet. We don't see it, but he does. So if I die tomorrow, that was at the exact point that he had planned for my life to end. If I die making this video, hey, you'll never see it unless somebody come in and post a video before they try to save my life or something. But expiration happens. Expiration happens, and anything happens at the point in time that he decided it. But in essence, we still have the free will to choose. So in other words, tomorrow I could eat a lollipop. Now, does he know I'm going to eat a lollipop tomorrow? If I eat one, he knew it. But I don't know if I'm going to eat one. Tomorrow I'm going to have 8 glasses of water. Does he know that I'm going to have 8 glasses of water? Yes. But tomorrow, do I know it? No. Tomorrow, I could live all day tomorrow and go through my whole day and decide, you know what? I only drank 4 glasses of water because it's all I wanted. So I made the choice to only drink 4. But did he know that I was only going to drink 4? Yes. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I realize that the descriptions I'm using are a bit infantile, or the illustrations that I'm using. But that's what it is. I mean, I don't know. Anyway, that's what it is. So, I don't know. I guess the analogies I used didn't quite touch it. They weren't quite perfect analogies, but no analogy is perfect. So, I don't know. But sub, rate, and comment below. Let me know what you think. Peace. Later. And I hope that this doesn't offend anybody. If it does, I hope it does so for righteous reasons. Have a great day. Bye.